What up, peeps? It's Gabe, and I am coming to give you part 2 of my Instagram Q&A. Thank you to everyone that watched part 1 last week. If you have not watched it, it's called Most Embarrassing Moment, and I will put it right here, and I'll also put a link in the description box so you can check it out. But thank you to everyone who watched and enjoyed it, and all of your comments. I really appreciate it. So hopefully you enjoy this second part. I filmed it all together, and it was just so long that I figured I'd split it up into 2 parts. So I'm gonna look like I did on the last video because it was all filmed at the same time. So let's get right into it. Mrs. Leanna Designs asks, Gabe, what do you do to relax and unwind away from the camera, vlogs, and family? Do you enjoy me time? Just curious to know if you take time for yourself, because it is definitely important. Yes, taking time for yourself is crucial. And I don't know, I feel like the only time I really enjoy me time is when I'm shopping. Which is crazy, like, and I don't really shop that much, but that's like my me time, when I go to the store and, you know, look for whatever it is I'm looking for. Very rarely do I go and like get my nails and my toes done, because I just much rather do it on my own and save that money. But yeah, I guess I do take my me time sometimes. Like, I feel like because I'm at home all the time, like everything is my me time, like when Chad is at school or something. But I don't really have like designated things that I do to relax or unwind. Like, relaxing for me is laying down in the bed and catching up on my YouTube or catching up on my shows, maybe have a glass of wine or something. But I don't really do a whole lot of just outside of the house type of me time unless I'm shopping. Simona139 asks, what was your major in college and what did you see yourself doing then? I went to undergrad as an accounting major, and then my sophomore year I changed my major to theater, because that was my passion, performing and entertaining. I loved that. And, you know, I tried my hand at that, lived in LA for 3 years. I really worked more than I auditioned. I felt like I didn't really give myself a fair shot. But to be honest, like, I was in love with musical theater, so I should have went to New York instead of LA, but that's a whole nother story. So yeah, I saw myself being on Broadway. Like, that was the goal when I decided to change my major to acting. So then after I was over LA, I moved back home and decided to get a business degree, because I felt like I needed a business degree. So I went and got my MBA, and I chose to go with accounting specialty because that was what I had went to school for in the beginning. So it was kind of like a full circle moment for me, even though I knew I didn't like accounting enough to ever work as one. Like, I knew that. So I have no clue why I chose that. But yeah, I think ultimately I wanted to be on Broadway. I wanted to be doing musical theater. Purple T Sue says, your segment on Fox 59 was great. Would you and Chad consider doing a workshop online or in person for people who are wanting to start a career in YouTube and branding, who look up to you guys to give advice in how to get where you are? That was a long question. But yes, actually that's something that we do have in the works. Chad and I have been talking about that for a while, just trying to really piece it together, what it is we want to offer and how we want to offer it. But we get that question asked all the time. So yes, it's definitely in the works, and I'll keep you guys posted. A Bright Flashback asks, are you or will you be pursuing any promotions or sponsors in the field that you went to college for? I don't know if you're talking about for theater or for accounting. I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't think I'd be opposed to it. I always try to make sure that what we promote is something that we would actually use ourselves, or something that we feel would be beneficial for our viewers. So it honestly just depends on what's offered. And then she had another question, will C Jr. be getting a big boy haircut similar to his dad's anytime soon? It's not gonna look like Chad. Like, he may get another haircut because he's getting some hang time in the back, and I'm like, maybe I need to cut it again, which is crazy, right? Because of all the fuss with his first haircut, I know. But looking at the hang time now, I'm like, maybe he needs a little trim. But it's not gonna look like Chad's. He's not doing the comb over anytime soon. Fit Naturalista asks, what's your advice on confidence? How to embody it no matter the situation? I feel like confidence is one of those things that can sometimes be a struggle for people. I think that it used to be a struggle for me. Confidence comes from within, and confidence comes from knowing who you are and whose you are, and no matter what anybody else says, like, that doesn't change. So I think that it takes some self-reflection, it takes some prayer, just to to know that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. You have to believe in you before you expect anybody else to believe in you. And when you believe in yourself, it shines through. Like, people can see that. Simply D West asks, in what ways does Chad and Siege inspire you to be a better mother, wife, friend, and woman of God? This is a great question. Honestly, Chad Jr., Siege, he inspires me because I want to be the mother that he grows up proud of, and that he, like how I think about my mother and how I love my mother, and I see the woman that she is and what she stands for, and I've watched that, and I've seen her consistency, and just how she hasn't wavered. She's a faithful woman, and like, I strive to be like her, and I want my son to grow up proud of his mother and proud of the things that he's learned from me in all areas of his life, in his spiritual life, in his financial life, in his relationships, in his love life. Like, I just want to be, everything that my mother was to me and more. So that pushes me. And then also, like, for my husband, like, we being together, like, we push each other. We're like accountability partners, so we can push each other when we're not doing what it is that we need to do. But I want to be the best wife that I can for him. That's a vow that I made, and I want to live up to that. That keeps me kind of on my toes, because I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can for him. Being a woman of God that's going to raise our son in the right way, and like, that pushes me to do more. Like, I want them both to be proud of me and to know my real character. B. Rodney asks, are you currently pregnant? No, I'm not. Sorry, I wish I was. Another part of the question was, why haven't I started a band with my dad and his current band members? I don't know. Like, I don't know. This is just something my dad kind of started doing because he's been wanting to do it for a very long time. So, like, this is, that's his thing. I let him do his thing. If he ever wanted me to sing with him, of course I would. But I don't know. I feel like, too, we also have different demographics. So, it works for him to do his thing. Like, I like being there to support. JV asks, would you ever consider adoption? That's such a good question, because honestly, it's something that I've never really given much thought to. Like, I've thought about it a little bit, and I'm like, if I ever had to adopt, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I probably wouldn't say that it would be like my first choice. But I'm definitely not opposed to it. It's something that I've never really given that much thought to, though. It's a good question. Music Gal 21, do you have a favorite artist that you grew up listening to? Janet Jackson. She's my ultimate favorite artist ever, and I listened to her a lot. I mean, there were a lot of other artists that I listened to, but Janet was probably like my favorite growing up. She's still my favorite. It's your girl Shanti. Any advice for people that try to start exercising and eating healthy and growing your hair out? Okay, so with the exercising, you just have to do it. Like, start small and just kind of work your way up. Start doing like 30 minutes a day, and then you can gradually progress and work out even more. And the eating right is the same thing. Like, a lot of times it's difficult to just cut everything out, so start just kind of eliminating the bad things. Maybe take a week and eliminate your candy, and then the next week you eliminate like your pop, and then the next week you eliminate all of the carbs. So you just kind of build on creating a healthy routine, because sometimes when you try to do it all at once, it backfires because you're just doing too much. So it's trial and error. Like, I have really, really good days, really, really good weeks, and then I have really, really bad ones. So it's just, you just have to get started. Like, do something. Something is always better than nothing. As far as like growing your hair out, protective styling is great, and that way you're not really manipulating with your hair very much, so you're able to retain the length that you've gotten with your hair. Like, just put it up, get some braids or some twists, or rock a weave or some wigs. Like, that's what I do. I'm trying to actually grow my hair out now, so I'm just like wearing a bunch of different protective styles. But make sure you take care of it under the protective styles. Keep it moisturized, keep it washed, and all that good stuff. Our hair is going to grow regardless, but it's really how you maintain it and how you retain that length. So the less you play around with it, the more length you'll probably retain. Desiree Morris asks, did you start your vlog with the intention to make money as a business? If not, then what made you transition it to a business? Also, did you start out with vlogs, or did you start out with a niche channel? Good questions, Desiree. No, I never started YouTube with the intention of making money. I had no clue that that was even an option. Honestly, I started YouTube as an outlet, and it was just fun for me. And my following grew. Then I got married. We started vlogging just because we were watching other vloggers, and I thought it was fun, so Chad agreed to it. And we vlogged for almost a year before we even got paid. Like, I mean, we vlogged for a long time before we even got paid. And even when we were getting paid, we were both working full time, and it was like, you know, it was chump change. Like, I saved up the whole first year of my YouTube earnings, and I bought my Louis Vuitton bag that I carry all the time. It's like my favorite bag ever. It was like $1,000. It took us a whole year to make that $1,000, and you know, it was fun money because we were both working, so it's not like we needed it. But once the following grew and that fun money became like full-time income, we were like, okay, wait a minute, we might need to do something with this. So then it became my job, because my husband was still working a full-time job, and it became a means for me to have my son and not have to go back to work. I was able to stay home, and you know, it was just my job. Like, it just became something that I was benefiting from, so I decided to turn it into the business. And then right up until almost a year ago, and last October when my husband got laid off, it was just considered my job, and he was still working a full-time job. But once he got laid off, we decided to just try out being full-time vloggers, and it worked. So we've been vlogging for 4 years now. So I'd say probably maybe 2 years in is when we really decided to get serious about making it a business, and you know, everything that comes along with that, and doing more, you know, sponsorship opportunities and things like that. So I'd say probably about year 2, when we saw the business potential there, we decided to take it serious. Did I answer your question? Did I start out with vlogs? No. I had my own channel, and I was doing hair and all of that good stuff, and then I didn't vlog until after I got married to Chad. We did the vlogging. So I guess my niche channel was more, it was hair, natural hair, wigs, weaves, fashion, and stuff like that. Key Maya asks, when will you guys offer a What Up Peeps and a Num 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 is about to go down tea? Good question. We actually have a What Up Peeps design. Like, we had it put together months ago, literally like 5 or 6 months ago, and we just haven't created the store yet. Like, all it takes is us creating the store, and we keep forgetting about it. So I'm gonna try and get that together, because we've been sitting on this t-shirt forever and people keep asking for it. So a Num 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 one, I don't know when that's coming, but I do know that a What Up Peeps will be coming really soon. Their mom, his wife, my life asks, with having a busy schedule and a baby, how do you maintain a healthy marriage? That is really, really important, and this is actually a good question. One thing that my husband and I try to do, we always make sure that we have time to connect. And whether it's every day or at least, you know, once or twice a week, where we have that time where it's just us. Like, we are date nighters. Like, we date night every week, usually on Fridays, sometimes Saturdays. We try and have a date night, and that's just our time to reconnect, spend some time together. Now that Siege is back in school, we're able to do like some day dates, because he goes half a day, so we're able to spend some time together during the day and do, you know, just little fun things like that. But you always want to make sure that you set aside time for you guys to connect. Like another thing is having your children on a schedule where they go to bed at a early hour, not where everybody goes to bed together, but maybe that leaves a couple hours for you and your husband to spend time together and, you know, do whatever it is you want to do. You have that time, at least you can look forward to, you know what, when the kids go to bed, we have this much time before we go to sleep. So it's just making sure that you make it a priority to spend time with each other. Pause, try again, ask, are you and your family still house hunting or planning to buy a home in the near future? Yes, we are. We haven't been house hunting. Like, we only went like that one time and we looked at a bunch of houses, and it was great because it kind of let us know what it is that we want and what we don't want, and you know, what kind of area we want to be in. Like, that was great for us. And then we just decided to kind of pull back a bit because we didn't want to rush into it, but ultimately we would love to be in a house, you know, within the next year. Like that would be great. S. Cole PhD said, I am starting a prayer journal. I purchased the one you suggested. Do you have any suggestions for prayer strategies? I am also reading the book related to War Room. Honestly, I don't have any special prayer strategies. I just use my prayer journal to write down my prayers. Like, I just literally, my prayers, I write them down. And this is my first time ever using a prayer journal, so I'm still kind of researching like different ways that you can use one. But yeah, for me right now, it's basically just a journal where I just write down my prayers. It's really a personal preference. You can kind of do whatever. You can get like one scripture and meditate on it, and then put your prayers down for the day. Like, I just every day, like writing in it, writing your prayer, whatever it may be. I mean, it doesn't have to be in journal format. You can write it in list format. However, you know, however you feel comfortable doing. I feel like prayer is really personal, so whatever works for you. But I just kind of did what felt natural to me, so hopefully that helps. Alright peeps, hopefully you've enjoyed all of my answers to your questions. If I did not get to your question, I'm so sorry. I had so many questions that I couldn't read them all, but I may do this again in another month and just go and find the questions that I didn't answer. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully you have enjoyed, and if you have any more questions, comments, or concerns, you know what to do. Leave them down below, and as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.